The Panama Canal is a disgrace, what took place at the Panama Canal. Jimmy Carter gave it to them for $1, and they were supposed to treat us well. I thought it was a terrible thing to do.
Donald Trump has repeatedly voiced his desire to bring the Panama Canal back under U.S. control, a move that would overturn decades of foreign policy and challenge international sovereignty norms. The canal, which the United States controlled for nearly a century, was formally transferred to Panama in 1999 under a treaty brokered by President Jimmy Carter. Trump's comments on regaining control of the canal echo his past remarks about acquiring green land. If acted upon, such ambitions would disrupt global trade and international diplomacy. The Panama Canal is not just a vital maritime passageway, it plays a crucial role in global commerce, facilitating hundreds of billions of dollars in trade each year. It's a key part of U.S. supply chains and a pillar of Panama's economy. But there's another layer to this story.
Panama's promise to us has been broken. The purpose of our deal and the spirit of our treaty has been totally violated. American ships are being severely overcharged and not treated fairly in any way, shape, or form, and that includes the United States Navy. And above all, China is operating the Panama Canal, and we didn't give it to China, we gave it to Panama, and we're taking it back.
China's growing influence in the region. Beijing's expanding commercial ties with Panama have fueled U.S. concerns about China's involvement in global shipping and port operations. Stretching 51 miles, the canal connects the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, making it one of the most critical trade routes in the world. Instead of ships taking the long and costly journey around South America's southernmost tip, the canal provides a shortcut, saving time and money. Each year, more than 13,000 vessels pass through, accounting for nearly 6% of global trade. The United States remains its biggest user, with around 40% of U.S. container traffic relying on the canal annually. Meanwhile, for Panama, canal revenues made up about 4% of its GDP in 2024. Other key users include Chile, China, Japan, and South Korea. However, climate change is starting to take its toll. In 2023, a prolonged drought forced canal authorities to limit daily crossings and raise fees due to record low water levels. Although conditions have improved, experts warn that new investments in water management are critical to ensuring the canal's long-term stability. Trump has criticized Panama for what he calls excessive fees charged to U.S. ships.
They charge more for our Navy than they charge for navies of other countries. They laugh at us because they think we're stupid, but we're not stupid anymore.
Calling the canal's handover a mistake by former President Jimmy Carter. He has even suggested that China secretly controls the canal and has not ruled out using U.S. military force to regain control. Trump may be using Panama as an example, sending a message to regional leaders who are deepening ties with Beijing. But does China really control the Panama Canal? There's no evidence that the Chinese government controls the canal itself. However, a Hong Kong-based conglomerate, CK Hutchison Holdings, operates two major ports, one on the Pacific side, the other on the Atlantic. Some experts worry that this could give Beijing influence over shipping in the region, especially given China's expanding national security laws over Hong Kong. China has also strengthened its economic presence throughout Latin America. It's South America's largest trading partner and a key investor in energy and infrastructure, including projects in Panama. Through the Belt and Road Initiative, China has financed developments such as a cruise ship terminal and a convention center. This growing influence has raised concerns in Washington. Marco Rubio, now Trump's Secretary of State, has warned that China could turn the canal into a choke point in times of conflict, posing a direct threat to U.S. interests. The United States secured the right to build the canal in 1903 after backing Panama's independence from Colombia. By 1914, the artificial waterway was open for traffic, and for decades, the US maintained control. However, as Panama pushed for greater sovereignty, President Carter negotiated the Torrijos-Carter Treaties in 1977, establishing joint US-Panamanian oversight until 1999, when Panama assumed full control. Not everyone supported the transfer. Some American lawmakers feared it would weaken US influence. Ronald Reagan, during his 1976 campaign, even declared that the US was the rightful owner of the canal. But despite lingering opposition, the treaties were seen as ushering in a new era of US-Latin American relations. Today, the US still holds the right to act if a military threat jeopardizes the canal's neutrality. However, that does not grant Washington the power to reclaim ownership, and experts argue that any attempt to do so would violate international law. Panama's President José Raúl Mulino wasted no time rejecting Trump's remarks. He made it clear there is no discussion to be had about returning the canal to US control. He also emphasized that China has no involvement in managing the canal and that shipping fees are calculated uniformly for all vessels. Mulino has expressed a commitment to strengthening Panama's cooperation with the US. But after Trump reaffirmed his stance during his inaugural address, the Panamanian leader reiterated his firm position. The Panama Canal belongs to Panama, and that will not change. The Panama Canal remains a strategic asset for global trade, the United States and Panama. While Trump's calls for reclaiming control may appeal to nationalist sentiments, they clash with international agreements and diplomatic norms. Meanwhile, China's economic footprint in the region continues to grow, and concerns over its influence persist. But one thing remains certain: Panama has no intention of handing back control, and for now the future of the canal remains firmly in its hands.